Hey guys, I'm 90beats and today I want to talk about Battlefield 3 and the feeling of war. First off, I have some problems with the TH sound because I'm not a native English speaker, so bear with me. Still, I played Battlefield 3 since the release and I played it for a few weeks. It was a totally different experience and there were so many aspects in the game that gave that feeling of war that I wanted to talk about it in this video. And first off, what really boggled me, or what became apparent in the beginning of the game, was the skill of the maps. There were so many multiple tactics you could use to attack the enemy, and it was not particularly good every time because not every spawn point was ideal. That's because, you know, when you are spawned at some spot and it's really far away from the objective, you have to take a long walk if you are unlucky. Still, the vehicles enhanced the feeling of war and it made the distances more bearable. You had helicopters, tanks, cars, armored vehicles, boats, and the boats, I wasn't a fan of the boats that much because they were kind of slow and water wasn't everywhere. So the main objective had to be done, or had to be captured, mainly on land, and the helicopters were good if you had if you had spent some time in it. I also forgot to mention that you had the jets. The jets were particularly difficult for me. I know people, at least I saw people, I didn't know them personally, but I saw people that were really good in them, and that was, if you were good at it, it was really awesome. Still, I was the best in the tanks. When I got in that tank, I really dominated the map. At least I had such a feeling. I unlocked so much stuff for the tank that I literally could blow up buildings. And that was also one of the things that made Battlefield so much more realistic in some way, that it enhanced the feeling of war. And the buildings literally collapsed under the weight of war. In Black Ops, it is, you know, the pace is quicker, and Black Ops is also, you know, it is run and gun, where Battlefield is more like you think up a war tactic to actually beat the enemy. And also the other things I think enhanced that feeling was the community. A team was actually making an effort to maintain the objective or to get the objective. Still, some members left you hanging, like when you are in a vehicle and you have room enough for two people maybe. The other one just stepped in and drove off. I was the one social enough to wait every now and again, but you know, some team members didn't take that so seriously and they just left off, which was also a shame because the vehicles was such a big part of the game and could really turn a game around. So there was one thing that maybe killed it for me. There were also people who were very handy with vehicles or whatever, or snipers, and they just kind of, yeah, waited for you to spawn on a certain spot. There was a penalty for entering the enemy zone. So that kind of stopped it maybe, or made it less interesting for the enemy team member to enter the area where your team was being spawned. But you know, you still had people who were just base raping, and that was something that maybe didn't enhance the feeling for me that I have with Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, I kind of take it for what it is because it's so fast, but in games like Battlefield, there is some delay, and it takes the pace out of the game. And also, I think what killed it for me was the time that the matches took. Some matches were so long, you couldn't just, you know, do a short match. That wasn't possible. You just had to wait your turn, and when you finally had a game, you had to stick for maybe 20 minutes, and you had just played once. Instead of Call of Duty, you can play it for half an hour, and you were just like yeah, you had a feeling you actually played something. I think that's what the main reason why I couldn't stick up with Battlefield that long. So, but the game had its good points. It was really, I hadn't had the feeling that much that I was being camped, or you know, you really had to do something. And if you weren't good on foot, you could take for example, a tank or something. So there was a lot of diversity in the game. And you know, I would encourage people who maybe think, Call of Duty sucks or whatever, or maybe are tired with it, to pick maybe Battlefield. For me, the pace was a little bit slow and the games were a little bit long. But despite that, I really had a feeling that you were a part of a bigger thing. Everybody just did their best to win. And on the other hand, I also want to mention that in Battlefield it was possible to pick the server you wanted to be in. So for example, I don't like a map, and I know there is a server out there that has that map like within the routine of maps you could play in. So that was a really interesting part to the game, because if you played what you liked, and in Call of Duty you sometimes have a feeling, oh god damn it, I'm sorry for my language, but you end up in a game or in a map that you don't like. And that's one strong point from Battlefield that was for me, it was a deal. It was something that convinced me to play it more often. But despite that, as I mentioned before, the time it took to play, and because I was playing Call of Duty so much, you needed some time to get used to the handling of guns and the type of gameplay. So all in all, I think Call of Duty is the better one for me. But you know, everybody has their tastes, and it is no crime to experiment with the games. You just take your pick, or you can always try something else. So I want to wrap this up. Battlefield 3 was a good game, but it didn't cut it for me. So I don't know if that was good English, but Battlefield 3 was very good. Still, it wasn't my cup of tea. So I want to thank you for watching if you reached this far. And if you like this, leave a like or hit the subscribe button. And hopefully see you next time. 90 out.